Welcome, my dear students. This is Dr. Osama Kashwa. Today I'm talking about chapter 8 and 9. Um, yeah, starting from chapter 8, the main points in purchasing and the purchasing equipment in the purchasing. So we will go first to the, let me share the screen so that everybody can see what we're going to talk about. Then, yeah, then here it is, um, the slides of chapter 8. The most important parts in this chapter is what is the supply quality, supplier quality. Supplier quality is the ability to meet or exceed current and future customers' expectations. You are working for the customers, so you need the customers' expectations to be satisfied, and the goods or the services which you are applying to him will satisfy all his needs and his requirements. So the keys to supplier quality is meet or exceed current and future requirements, current requirements of the client and the future requirements of the client as well. And it's not only it's for not a temporary, but it's on consistent basis. We have also here super supplier impact on quality is very important that we must know how we will apply is its impact is positive or negative upon the quality, and the continuous improvement also there are also for the super quality concerns there must be always a continuous improvement in the quality itself, not only for outstanding for a few minutes then after this, no. And the improvement is in all the stages of production. And outsourcing for purchase requirements, I have to look do outsourcing for the requirements of the purchasing itself, like the raw materials or whatever. So this was another 2 points. We'll go now to slide number 8, the TQM perspective. TQM, total quality management, is very important here. Total quality management, focusing on the process rather than outputs. I don't care only about the outputs only. No, I will care even on the quality within the process. So in every stage of production, I care too much about the quality. Basics of process capabilities, striving for zero defects. My own the defects in my production or in my raw materials or whatever as a supplier, it must be at zero level. No bad units, no bad materials, everything is fine. Zero defects. Cost of quality. What is the cost? We are always in management care too much about the cost and minimizing the cost, but not on the consideration of the quality. So not because I want to have a lower cost that I will neglect or discard partially the quality or totally. No, I have to care so much about the quality first, and comes cost second. Establishing continuous improvements, like we said before, TQM, total quality management, depends on the continuous improvement in everything, in the way of life in general, including also the quality itself. Making quality everyone's responsibility, and this is another point. So the quality is not the responsibility of the managers only. The quality is not the responsibility of the workers only. The quality is the responsibility of everyone in organization. Everyone in the organization should be this. Okay. Also, non-conforming supplier quality is often due to inconsistent communication, need for clear specification and performance requirements. Yes, sharing of final products requirements. So to meet the customer's expectations, I have to care about all the details. Also, um, developing clarity. Clarity is very important. Ability of the buying company to succinctly identify, clarify, or clearly define, quantify, or specify its technical and sourcing requirements. Everything must be clear. Buyer's ability and initiative to effectively communicate these requirements to the supplier. So the buyer must tell the supplier what he wants. We'll go after this to the principles, the 14 points of Deming's, also on the quality. Those are also on the quality. We're talking about the quality now. Create a vision, the first point. The second point of Deming is learning the new philosophy. Third thing, understand the inspection and the meaning of the inspection for quality. Four, stop making decisions based purely on the basis of costs. Don't only use for the basis of cost. Improve constantly and forever. There must be, the improvement is always going on. Institute training, people must be trained, highly trained in everything regarding the quality. Institute leadership, the kind of leadership itself, what is it? Is it democratic or autocratic? Of course, democratic leadership is encourageable. Driver out fear, the fear of a change, the resistance of a change, all this, no. So there must be a programs or aware for the people who are working to get out of the fear of the change. Optimize the efforts of the team, usually reward the teams whenever they do something right. Eliminate exhortations, things which unnecessary for the work or cause stress or something, you have to eliminate it. Still Deming 14 points, Deming's 14 points, eliminate numerical quotas and measurements by objectives. Yeah. So remover, because always don't go for like the expressions. Measures should be in numbers, in digits, as much as you can. Remover barriers to pride in workmanship. Encourage education and self-improvement. People must be. Those are all requirements for the quality in Deming's 14 points. We call it Deming's 14 points. Take action. And this is the last point as well. Okay. These are a summary of Deming's philosophy. Deming's philosophy. Variation is the primary source of quality non-conformance. To reduce variation. So variation is very bad. We don't want variation. We want no variation. Variation means one product is high quality and the other is lower, or one is good and one defective. No. To reduce variation, the search for improved quality is a never ending. So always the quality is a continuous process. It's a continuous process. Cycle of design, products, and delivery, followed by survey customers, then starting all over. Now, I will tell you a question here. We will put a question. So the question is, what are the diamonds? The question is, the question is, what are the Deming's philosophy? The question is, state Deming's philosophy. Here we go. And I'll stop here for a few minutes for the answer of this question. I will stop here for a few minutes for the answer of this question. So I want you guys just write in your notes the answer of this question. States Deming's philosophy. What does it depend upon? And also we have another question that is the TQM. TQM, or the definition TQM stands for what? TQM stands for and that is, so also we need to know what is the meaning of the TQM and stand for what and what is it used for. So by this, please, I want you here to answer those two questions. Here we go. Then let's move to the next step here. Let's move to the next step. We'll go to slide number 26. Or 27, zero defects. We need always our productions to be a zero defects, mean there is no defects, nothing is wrong. Conformance for requirements, key metrics to identify improvement opportunities. When we have a zero defects raw materials, zero defects inputs, when our suppliers bring for us zero defects materials as well. Average supplier quality improvements, lower performance are eliminated from the supply base. Those are some points which yeah. So here we go. Here we go about this point. Then we'll go to 36, I believe 36. Quality, is it the responsibility of someone or the responsibility of everyone? Quality actually is the responsibility of everyone working in the organization. Quality is the responsibility of everyone. And then we'll go to 37. Six Sigma is very important topic nowadays because it is another way for measuring the quality. It's another way for measuring the quality actually. And that's what we are in. Proven quality principles and techniques, virtually error-free business performance like any other kind, expressed as 3.4 errors or defects per million opportunities. Oh my God. So it's 3.4 error or defect per million opportunities. DPMO stands for this expression. Increasing expectations from customers. Always, you deal with the expectations of your customers. You want him to have the best. Increasing expectations, focus on defect prevention, cycle time, reduction and cost saving, use of Six Sigma black belts. The black belts, like in Sigma, we use black belts, which show the kind of the trained and experienced persons who are working on the the quality in this company. So we have here also the Deming, and it stands for this another model of the quality, and it stands for GMAIC. So D for define, M for measure, A for analyze, I for improve, C for control. And you can see even it goes like a circle because it's continuous process. You will define, then measure, analyze, improve, and control. So those are the points which you will work on. Like here, the Deming model, define improvements, activities, and goals, measure existing systems, metrics, and analyze systems and develop hypotheses, improve, develops ideas, test solutions, control, measures, and producers to ensure system stays in control. So here I will go now, after this, into, I will put a new slide and I will put some questions here. I'll put a question. So the question is, state the following. The first is, what was in the last two Six Sigma quality? Sorry about that. Six Sigma quality. And I will go to my slide back and write it here. Control and V, then I will write dots. Here it is. So you will say what you know about the Six Sigma quality. Then the second question is about the Deming model. What you will know about the Deming model. So you will copy and paste in your notes both of these stuff. Okay, here we go. The Deming model as well. So I have the quality TQM, and I have to talk about the Deming model. So those are the things which I want you to focus on in this place. And we'll go now for the ISO. What do we mean by the ISO system? And what we know about the ISO? The ISO, we International Standard Organization, ISO. This is a kind of measure for the qualities. We have ISO 9000, 2000. We have ISO 14000. The ISO 9000 is regarding the quality of the raw materials, the quality of the product as well. But ISO 14000 is regarding the environment. Is this product friendly environment or no? So ISO 14000 is for the environment. Like you see here, the ISO 9000 originally developed in Europe. Or we don't care, it's not that our concern, but our concern is it's because it's internationally accepted. So the principles of it, this is what we care about: customers focus, leadership, involvement of people, process approach, system approach. Continual improvement means always the improvements in quality must be continuous. Factual approach to decision making, mutual benefits. Supplier relationships means the relationship between the supplier and the buyer must be based on mutual benefits. So that the 8 principles of ISO. Uh, these are ISO 9000. How about ISO 14000? I said ISO 14000. 9000 is for the quality and 14000 is for the environment. So if it is having its own ISO 14000 set of voluntary standards, process-oriented standards, product-oriented standards, but it does not build an existing government regulations, establish emissions and pollution levels. It does not include the evolution levels, details any specific testing methods. Uh, the benefits of ISO 14000, which is regarding the environment, is fewer pollution, reduced liability risk, and improve regulatory compliances, better public and community relations, lowered insurance premiums, enhanced profitably through improved resource management, and reduced waste generation. Um, Now I just want to know to write notes, write short notes. I want you to write short notes about, yeah, write short notes, write short notes about ISO 9000 and ISO 14000. So here I want you, I'll stop for you to write notes about ISO 9000 and ISO 14000. Shall I end the class here? Thank you so much and have enjoyed your day, and we'll go to another chapter soon. Thank you. So welcome back, my dear students. This is chapter 8, part 2. This chapter 8, part 2. And here we will work on very important points that is complete of what we talk about in the start of chapter 8 itself. If I see there are some points, like you said now, like you saw now, the relationship with the supplier is very important because the supplier is the one who will bring for me what I need. He will grab what I need from the raw materials and everything needs for the organization. So my relationship with the supplier should be in the best quality. And if there are some mistakes or drawbacks in this supplier, I will try to develop erase the problems, and I will try to develop a relationship with the supplier. So this map shows me supplier development process map. It's very important because it sums up the relationship between the supplier and the buyer. First, I have to identify the critical commodities for development. Second, I will identify critical suppliers for improvement or for development, improvement or development. Third, from form cross-functional team, I will make a team. Then number four, meet with suppliers top management team. So I will meet with the team of the supplier as well. Fifth, identify the opportunities and probability of development. I will check out what can I develop in the relationship between me and my supplier. Six, I will define keys metrics and cost sharing mechanism. I will look for cost sharing mechanism. Seven, I will reach agreement on key projects and joint resources requirements. And finally, I will monitor status of projects and modify strategies as appropriate for this relationship. So this is how to develop the process between me as a buyer and the supplier itself. We'll come to very important points for the problems which will happen in the relationships between the buyers and the suppliers. And this is another point which is very important. So if there is a buyer-supplier interface barriers, if there are barriers like problems between in the interaction between the supplier and the buyer, how will I solve them? So as example, the barrier supplier is reluctant to share information. He does not like to share information on costs. Solution, create an ombudsman. So this is the first. The barriers confidentially inhibits information sharing. The barrier. The solution, establish confidentiality agreements. So we'll do agreements as long as it, okay. If the barriers was supplier does not trust buyer, then solution is to spirit out. Okay. The barrier, organization cultures are poorly aligned. Solution, adopt a new approach to local conditions based on the place and where I am. So I will check out the condition and the culture of the others, and I have in all my work to respect the cultures of the others. The barrier, as example, in the barrier in the supplier-buyer relationship is not enough in documents to participate or provided to the supplier. So the supplier does not have enough documents. Solution, designed in motivations. Solutions, financial incentives. Should be there, financial incentives and bonuses to encourage. Also, we have the barrier, lack of commitments on the part of the supplier's management. Okay, the solution is implement after commitment. So you look for the problem and solve the problem with the same remedy, from the same category of remedies. Barrier, supplier management agreement to improve but fails to implement the proposals. Solution, suppliers champions. Okay. Barriers, also suppliers lack engineering resources to implement solutions, and the solution, direct support. I have to support him. Barriers, suppliers lack required information system. Solution, direct electronic data interchange for supporting it. The barriers, supplier is not convinced development will provide benefits. Is not convinced development will provide benefits. Solution, let suppliers know where they stand. Show them the situation. Also, the barrier, suppliers lacks employee skills. He does not have skills for his employees based to implement solution. The solution of this problem is establishing training centers. When there are no skills, I will put training centers. Solution also is provide human resource support, the human resource support. These are the main points which I wanted you to know from this chapter 8, part 2. Thank you so much. Welcome, my dear students, back. This is chapter 9 today. We are going to talk about chapter 9 in this small video. And I will share the screen and go for working on what I came for. And the key points of this chapter is the supplier plays critical role in the success of most organizations. That's exactly because he's the one who's supplying you with your raw materials. If he brought for you something bad, that means the consequences will be bad on your product. A supply base that is too large and complex usually constrains supplier development activities. The third point is supplier development requires more than slogans. It's not just by talk and demands for better performance. Uh, how does a buyer know how will any given supplier is performing? How he will know about this, the performing of supplier? We have measurements. That's what we will talk about the measurements now. So consists of the methods and system to collect and provide information to measure and rate and rank ongoing suppliers' performance. How I will rank them, how I will rank their work, acts as a supplier report card. So that's what you will do in the supplier performance management, how you will do to manage the supplier's performance. What are we going to measure about the supplier? We are going to measure the quantitative, and we are going to measure the reporting frequencies and use of measurements data. So that's what we will use for him. In using the suppliers or in treating with the suppliers and or trying to see the work of the supplier, how he's working, the measurements, the dimensions of the measures, we have some qualitative service factors that will help us to measure the supplier's performance. That's our problem resolution ability, the first one, technical ability, his technical ability, the supplier's ongoing progress reporting, and his corrective action response. Does he respond quickly to my comments about what he supplied me, the raw materials? As example, if there was defects in some of the raw materials which the supplier cuttered me or cuttered my company, and I told him return this and bring another's, how far he takes time? Does he do this in a short lead time, or it takes from a long time to do that? Descriptions, as example, the problem resolution ability, suppliers attentiveness to problem solutions, means he's able to solve with you problems or no. Suppliers manufacturing ability compared with other industry suppliers, how he will act in the manufacturing abilities. Suppliers ongoing reporting of existing problems, when we say about the ongoing process reporting, and recognizing a communication potential problem, means he's able to recognize what happened, the problems, and he confessed that this problems is his own and he did it by his own and he's able to correct it, and how long he will take till he correct the defaults. Supplier solutions and timely response to requests for corrective actions, including a supplier's response to engineering change requests. If we ask him, this is in the corrective actions. When the supplier does something wrong and he needs to correct it, what he will do then? Still, we are in the qualitative service factors for estimating the supplier performance, how to measure the supplier performance. Factors, supplier cost reduction ideas. Is he trying to offer ideas for cost reduction, reducing the costs? Suppliers' willingness to help find ways to reduce purchases and or operating costs. The way he will help in operating in reducing costs. Supplier ability to help reduce a new product development cycles. Supply subjectives rating concerning how will a buying firm and the supplier work together. This is the compatibility of the buyer and the supplier. Are able to cooperate, or the relationship between them is not well, or whatever. So this point is the points of the supplier. So here we have a question about supplier measurement decisions criteria. So we will say here, we will insert a question here and say new slide, then mention how to do this. And the answer is here. You will put your answer in this area or in this place. This is how I will measure the supplier's performance. By other meaning, measuring supplier's performance. How I will measure his performance, like, yeah. So these are the points which I want to say here. Okay, I'll move now to other slides. Uh, the rationalization and optimization in the decision. Rational means wise decisions. Usually results in a net reduction of suppliers. May result in adding suppliers in some phases or categories. Keys is to determine the right number of suppliers. So I would check always as a management for the right number of the suppliers which I have. Are they more than enough or less than enough? Should I take all my needs from one supplier or should I have more than one supplier as well? Uh, I'll just go now to, yeah, what we know about the complex sourcing strategy, and this is very important also. So complex sourcing strategy is about the supplier development. It is early supplier design involvement, just-in-time sourcing. We look in time when we need a supplier, development of cost-based pricing agreements. We will try always to negotiate for the cost pricing agreements. So that was the most important parts here. And I want you to know from here how we will measure the performance of the supplier. What are the criteria which we will need to measure the performance of the supplier. Thank you so much. Thank you. 10. This is chapter 10, and we will work today on a very important chapter which is about the globalization and how to use the globalization in our work and how it's useful. So we'll go directly to page 3, and we'll have here the impact of globalization. Globalization means, like we said before, the world became like a small village, and this is very important. So impact of globalization, interdependence means the whole world is depending on each other now. Connectivity means there is a good communication between countries, each other, and shares on the individuals or on the countries itself and the governments. Integration of economies. Now, you are alone, you cannot exist, and me alone, I cannot exist. We need to help. We need to integrate with each other. I give you what I have, and you give me what you have. Social and technical and political integrations. Those also shows the meaning of the globalization. One of the aspects of the globalization is the integration in the whole world. The outsourcing opportunities on the supply side, the opportunities for new markets, this also impact of globalization now. What are the effects of the globalization? It's there are people outsourcing because I'm looking to get my machine, my inputs, this from many resources. Opportunities for new markets on the demand side, issues for the trade balances. This is the impact of the globalization as well. If there is the sourcing means looking for many sources to grab my own needs from supplies or whatever. If I look globally, is there are benefits for looking globally? Yes. This cost saving, I will save cost because I will find it cheaper. As example, I have a supplier who bring for me what I need, expensive, but if I bring it from China, it will be cheaper for me. Then I will bring it this cost saving. Availability, it will be available. Maybe the local supplier will tell me I don't have, but if I look globally, I will find what I want a lot of time. Look at the supermarkets when you go to the stores or whatever, the food stores. Then you will find, as example, the watermelon is there the whole year. So places in the earth, in the globe, where there is winter, there is no watermelon. So there are another places, there's still, it's for them hot weather. So there will be their watermelon as example. So you will find in the supermarket watermelon the whole year. So it's available the whole year. The sources, the globally will make the products available for the whole year. Quality, I might find when I'm looking for sourcing that a better quality, innovation, new ideas, and new things, entry to new markets, like going to see new markets or whatever. So here, what I will say, benefits of global sourcing. Control and C. Then I will put a slide. And I'll put a slide like this. Let's see, title slide. We had it here before. Okay. Yeah, okay. Let's see this one. Okay. Here we'll say Control and V. What are the global sources benefits? And here is a question. And you will write for me the answer down here now. On this part, you will find and write the answers for me here on this part. So let's move on for a next part, which is, let's go to page 13. Our problems also in global sourcing. We have barriers to worldwide sourcing. There are a lot of barriers, like lack of knowledge and skills. This is a problem which meet us concerning global sourcing. Resistance to change, and this is a very big problem. Longer lead times, because it takes time when you bring something. Compare it when you bring something locally. Your supplier is very close by you, and you compare this with something internationally once your supplier is very far from you. So the global will take last longer time. So this is what we call longer lead time. The time from receiving the order till you get your own goods on your port or on your destination point. It's called lead time. Different business customs, languages, and cultures. Also, this is one of the barriers for the sourcing, the worldwide sourcing, and currency fluctuation, because my dollar now is in relation to your currency. It's fixed for 1-2 months, but who knows what will happen? There will be a fluctuation, means going up and down. The price will change going up and down. Lack of knowledge and skills, we said, resistance of a change and longer leads, and the cultural problems, those are all barriers. But how I will solve these barriers of global sourcing, how I will solve them? Through the education programs, through the publicizing success stories, through the global linked information system, by the communication and the information, everything will be clear. And supplier providing US-based support, personal, this for US, measurements and reward systems, and use of a third-party intermediaries in the relationship between the supplier and buyers. Look for a third one. Domestic and international, this is a very important point which we talk about, is the benefits of the sourcing. Benefits of the sourcing was very important part in this class, and I will come to the end of this class for you now. Thank you so much. Enjoy your day, and see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye-bye. Welcome back, my dear students. This is chapter 10, part 2. Chapter 10, part 2. And we will talk here about the counter trade requirements. Counter trade requirements. What's the meaning of the counter trade? A full or partial exchange of goods for goods, not for money, but the counter trade means goods for goods. I would give you wheat, and you will give me, as example, steel. I will give you corn, you will give me cotton. So this is the counter trade. So second thing, purchasing is often responsible for negotiating and managing counter trades agreements. So it's like the common factor is purchasing in all the way. Why counter trade? Why do we use countries or the people or the supplier and buyer relationship depends on the counter trade. Some countries lack hard currency. They don't have hard currency, but they have products. Counter trade provides a mean to sell products in that country. Factors that will help are typically involve large older dollar amounts found in countries with received low or non-differentiated commodity like. Types of the counter trade is still I'm in chapter 10, part 2. The barter. The barter system means you exchange something for other thing. Counter purchases, offsets, buyback, switch trading. Those are the fine types of counter trade. Okay. The barter. What is the barter? Straight exchange of goods for goods. Yes. Involves a single contract, usually relate to specific transactions, and cover a shorter period of time. Counter purchases requires a selling firm to purchase a specified amount of goods from the country that purchases its products. Uh, it's also a percentage of the original sales and involve products released to the company's premise business and issues a disposition of goods. But the most important thing that to know is that it's a kind of counter purchasing. Offset. What is the offset? Closely related to counter purchase, generally a percentage of the original sales. Allowed to offset its counter trade requirements with any company or industry more flexible. What about the buyback, sometimes called compensation trading? Occurs when building a plant in a third world country. Building a plant as a factory or whatever. Building company agrees to buy back some or all of the plant's outputs as a payment. So I will build for you this factory, but I will take the income or the profits for 3 years is mine, or for 5 years. Okay, because I built it for you. You don't have to pay. You didn't pay. You don't have money. So I will take from the profits, or I will take from, as example, 100 million. It costs 100 million, and then I will take this 100 million on about 7 or 8 years. You don't have to touch anything. Switch trading occurs when a selling company agrees to accept goods from buying country as partial payment. Company may decide to utilize a third party to sell market goods. Uh, so those were most important points about the international trades. Today we talk about the trade-off. The global sourcing success factors are very important because this diagram will tell me what are the global sourcing success factors. Generally, coordinated and lead decision making. Decentralization also is very important, means not to put the decision in one point, but should be divided between many points so that will make the decision fast. Real-time communication methods, the communications. Those are the success factors: communication, coordination, decentralization, coordination, communication. All those are the success factors for global sourcing. Information sharing the information also will help in global sourcing success. Then availability of critical resources and sourcing of contracting system, that's fine as well. And international purchasing office support. There must be a third party who will help for finishing the transactions, the international transactions. Shall see you in safe. Thank you so much. Take care of yourself. Bye bye.